Oh, excuse me. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to G.S.R. Gonzo'S Sports Room. Excuse me, Friday, July 29th. Man, that's a bad time to get the calls. Oh, damn. But no, joined by sports judge Jonathan Mathis and the stat guy Dustin Reese. Damn.
You okay? Maybe a glass of water there?
Damn, I don't know what the. I'll get it under control here in a second.
That was a 5-minute smoke break gone bad.
Oh, damn. All right, I think that's better. But no, we got a lot to talk about. Cincinnati Reds just got announced that they're finalizing a deal to send Castillo to the Seattle Mariners. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But I'm joined by Jonathan Mathis and stat guy Dustin Reese. How you doing, Jonathan?
I'm doing great, guys. How you guys doing? It's good to be on the show. Happy Friday to you all. It's the weekend. And, we're getting closer to the trade deadline. So there's going to be a lot of breaking news in the coming days around the major leagues.
It'd be a better day if the Reds went and gave up 5 runs in the top of the ninth to lose the game. They did right after the game ends. They announced that Castillo's gone. I'm like, come on.
Yep. That's the latest bombshell around the majors.
Pour some salt on the wound.
But how you doing tonight, Dustin?
Doing great, Chris.
Been watching baseball?
I just watched 4 minor league games go final, and now I have Cubs and Giants on Apple TV right now.
I've been watching the Reds, and then I've been listening a little bit about this trade. I guess the Reds are getting 3 of the Mariners' top 5 prospects. I haven't looked up the prospects, but it's Novi Marte, Levi Stroud, Edwin Arroyo, Dylan Moore. It says it, and it said 3 of them they got 3 of the Mariners' top 5 prospects. So we'll see. I'm gonna do a little more research on it, but you think we'll get any more big trades coming up tonight, or you think it'll die off to probably tomorrow?
Who did you say? Who did you say that the Reds got?
Novi Marte, Levi Stout, Edwin Arroyo, and Dylan Moore.
I think Dylan Moore is one of their top prospects. I know that for sure. Hold on once.
Yeah, the thing I read said that there was 3 of their top 5 prospects. But
I'm a little surprised because even though they can use a pitcher, even though they could use another arm, I thought they would go with a hitter because they can also use another batter in their lineup. I mean, we all know they got a stud in Julio Rodriguez, but they need someone that can, back consistently. Jesse Winker hasn't been that guy, and that's what they traded for him. That's why they traded for him because they thought he can be that guy offensively, and he just hasn't panned out really well for the Mariners. So I'm kind of surprised they went with a pitcher, but I can see why they went with a pitcher because they don't really have a strong arm after Logan Gilbert and who's their other top starter that pitches really well?
Robbie Ray.
Yeah, Robbie Ray. There you go. So they can use another arm too. So I just thought Luis Castillo would go to a place like the Yankees or because that's what you were hearing. That's what you were hearing. The Dodgers because the Dodgers we all know can also use another arm in their starting
I
rotation.
know the Cardinals was real interested in him, but I just don't think the Reds was going to let him go in the division.
I think honestly the Cardinals are more interested in Juan Soto. I think that is one of their top priorities if they can possibly land him.
Yeah, but I think they need another starting pitcher if they're going to try to compete in the playoffs.
I agree. I think they also need to look for better starting pitching as well.
But
It's interesting.
do you think the Mariners are done? Do you think they might still try to add a bat?
They could. I could see them possibly adding a bat because again, I think they need that offensive help. I think they need someone that could come in and kind of bolster that offense.
So Chris, here's who they got. They got that Novi Marte.
Yeah.
He's their number one prospect in the system. 20-year-old shortstop who's with high A right now, and which is high A Everett. He's hitting a 275 right now with 15 homers and 55 RBIs in high A. So he'll be up to double A probably before the year is over. And then Edwin Arroyo is another shortstop. He's their number 3 prospect. He's hitting a 316 in the minors with 13 homers and 67 RBIs.
Is that a high A as well?
He is regular A, low A.
Okay.
And then Levi Stode is their number 5 pitcher, or number 5 prospect, their top pitching prospect. He's in double A, and he's 6-6 right now in double A.
I don't understand why we're loading up on shortstops, but they both seem to hit the ball pretty well. So, I mean,
Essentially, when a team loads up on shortstops, the ultimate goal is you can either flip one to get something later on when you're more competitive, or shortstops are usually the most athletic person on the field, so they can usually make a position change to center field or somewhere else.
did the Cubs win? Did they play tonight?
They're on right now against the Giants. It's
Oh,
0-0
Cubs
in
and
the
Giants are on now.
4th, I think. Yeah, 0-0 in the 4th.
Dodgers winning today?
Dodgers are currently winning 5-2 in the top of the
Okay.
8th.
I haven't watched none of the Dodgers. Like I said, I watched the Reds, and then I've been looking at about that trade. But Dustin, do you think the Mariners are done? Do you think they might still try to add a bat before the trade deadline, or do you think they think they got what they need to?
Well, it's like I said on the afternoon show today that the American League is going to be far more active than what the National League is going to be, just because you have those wild card teams, Toronto, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and Baltimore, all kind of within 2 or 3 games of each other, that somebody's got to make that move to kind of get that upper hand. Seattle just made the first move to get the upper hand with Luis Castillo, which means Toronto's probably going to be next by going after a guy like Frankie Montas or somebody in their rotation. And then that's going to leave Baltimore, if what they're going to do, and that's going to leave other teams that are in the wild card hunt like Tampa Bay what they're going to do. I think Seattle is going to add bullpen help. I don't think they'll add another starter. And if they do add any bats, you have to look at maybe getting Trey Mancini from Baltimore. But if Baltimore's still in contention, they're probably not going to trade away Trey Mancini. If you want to look a little further into other teams that are like out of contention right now, I mean, Detroit's got Jamer Candelario, who can play first base. You can plug him in at Seattle. Oakland will probably give up some of their pieces, like Seth Brown, Elvis Andrews, Steven Piscotty, any one of those guys who's kind of in that team. And then Texas might even be willing to part ways with some of their kids, but Texas will be competitive in the next couple of years. But I think Seattle's got one, maybe two moves left in them.
My dad said he's done with the Reds until they prove they want to compete. Frankie, why didn't you send Castillo to the Yankees? That's what you were hearing some this morning, that Castillo to the Yankees, but
Yeah, that's where I thought he would end up as
and
well.
he says the Yankees are looking at Montage as well.
And that's probably who they would get. Because they want a pitcher. They want another arm in their rotation.
Where do you think Contreras is going to end up at? I thought we'd hear something because it sounded like he cleaned out his locker, and from reports you heard, and he took off everything off social media.
Right, and he's been emotional the last few days as well. And he's been trying to take it
Yeah,
all
and
in.
in
the best
San
way he
Francisco,
can.
San Francisco just threw at him intentionally too, so that's not going to make matters any better.
He said, "Hell, the Reds and Orioles game tonight. The bench is cleared.
What happened?
Reds reliever hit one of I forget who he hit on the Orioles, and bench is cleared. Here came the bullpens and everything. Nothing ended up happening. They separated before it got out of
Oh, I
hand.
was about to say it wasn't as nasty and wild as that Mariners and Angels, bro. Right? No sunflower seeds came
Oh.
onto the field, didn't they?
No sunflower seeds made the field in this one. I've been to one baseball game where I've seen a fight like that, and that was Reds and Cubs about
Is that
40.
when Kyle Farnsworth picked up the guy and body slammed him?
No, not that one. It
Dang.
was
I
Amir,
remember that body
Amir
slam.
Garrett. Amir Garrett hit somebody on the Cubs, and then the bench is cleared.
I remember that body slam. That was an epic body slam. And not only did he body slam him, he punched him in his nose.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Frankie said no need for Soto now that we got Andrew, so now we need a starter. Yeah, Montas is probably the next pitcher or I guess I'd say probably the next best pitcher that's going to be available. What do you think, Dustin?
You said Montas?
Yeah,
Montas, or there was what the heck's the other guy? Paul Blackburn from Oakland. Those will probably be the first two that are going to be moved off the market.
Tyler Malley's name's been mentioned from the
Yeah,
Reds.
the Cubs have Drew Smiley and potentially Wade Miley that can be dealt off of their roster.
Tyler Malley's going to definitely be moved, I think.
Oh, I think so now, especially since
If Castillo got moved, he's next.
We have some decent young starting pitching. Our problem had been the bullpen, and that's what happened again tonight.
And that's what happened yesterday when I was watching the day game.
Yeah, they blew that game yesterday.
Yeah,
too.
they blew the game. They couldn't. They
bullpen
can
comes
never
in the game.
preserve the lead. That's been their flaw. You know.
Frankie said, pitcher from the Angels is on the talks.
Probably Syndergaard or Bundy.
Syndergaard has underperformed this season.
He's performed better than I thought he was going to.
Yeah, he hasn't been great, but he's been okay. You know, if that makes sense. But no one's better than Shohei Ohtani. He has really, put himself, in the forefront of that starting rotation. He is the ace. He is the perennial ace of that starting rotation. And now you're hearing trade talks.
Yeah. What? Any other big trades you think we might see over the weekend?
I think Ian Happ might get traded. I think David Robertson might get traded.
That's interesting.
Contreras, I thought he'd be gone already. So I don't know what's taking so long on that side of things.
The Cubs are getting rid of everybody, it seems.
It's because their owner's a jackwagon.
Yeah, he doesn't care about winning. That's my inclination, is that the guy doesn't care enough to win, that they just give up any and everybody.
He doesn't care to win. If you ever watch his introductory press conference when he first bought the team, he even said it himself that he never wanted to buy a baseball team, but his dad convinced him to, because he said, win or lose, Cub fans are going to show up, and you're always going to make money.
Oh, there you go then.
Frankie
Yeah,
said,
there
yeah,
you
it
go.
was a Syndergaard that's in talks. He said Andrew Jar might get traded.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. I think I read that on The Athletic that he might be moved as well. It's going to be interesting the next couple of days. It's going to be wild. It's going to be a busy. It's going
I
to be a
think
busy week.
I think tomorrow and Sunday is going to be the busy day, and then you'll have a quiet Monday, and then Tuesday, which is deadline day, you'll start to see things pick up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Do you
dad
guys
said,
think Shohei Ohtani gets moved?
No,
I don't think he gets moved. He might get moved maybe after the season or something, but I don't think he gets moved before
Do
the
you
trade.
guys think they should move him? I'm one that believe they should move him
That they should move him now.
because you're not going to be able to afford him in the future. And, this Angels team is not going to win anything. They're not in contention. They're
If they
out
can
of
stay healthy, they got a pretty good roster.
I don't know. I don't even think Shohei Ohtani wants to be an Angel, but he did come out and say today that he appreciate everything that the organization has done for him. And he basically thanked the Angels. He did say that he loves the organization, but whatever they choose to do, it's out of his control. And I know it's in the back of his mind that he could end up pitching somewhere else where he does have a chance to contend, you know. But if the Angels move him, there goes your star. There goes the face of the franchise. And you want to sell tickets, and that's what this guy does.
Okay, so why do you?
He brings bodies to the ballpark, but you give up on him now so you can see if you can get some top prospects for him. Because if you move him, you're definitely gonna get 4 top prospects.
Where would you think they would move him? Move him to
See, that's a
before the trade
question.
deadline?
That's a tough question because that remains to be seen. Where do you move Shohei Ohtani? I'm pretty sure that if he does get moved, he wants to go somewhere where he can contend.
I think if he does move, I think he would like to just go over to the Dodgers and stay in LA.
the thing with this is
They wouldn't they wouldn't make that trade.
Yeah,
I don't see him going to the Dodgers. I don't see that happening.
I see that happening because the Dodgers can give the Angels Dustin May, and then a lot of their other pitching prospects.
yeah. Dodgers have a lot of prospects that they could give up.
But the thing that people have to realize if they're going to try to trade for Ohtani, you better hope that you can give him a very good offer in 2 years, because most of the reports that you are hearing have said that once his 5-year contract is over, he's going back to Japan.
Then you won't be able to keep Trey Turner though, if you lock him up.
So he's only going to basically play 5 years, and then he's
5
going,
years, and he said he wants to go back to Japan.
Huh.
So anybody that trades for Ohtani has
what?
to realize that they might not be able
Does-
to keep him beyond the 2 years that they're getting him.
Yes.
He's
Is he
gonna
planning
do
on going to?
what the Yankees pitcher did and what Kenji what was his name? The Seattle Mariners catcher?
Pitcher.
He
So
was
is
a
he going to go
catcher.
back to Japan and play baseball in Japan?
Yeah, a lot
or
of
is he
them
just gonna
they
go back to
only play
Japan?
so many years here and then they go back to Japan.
Yeah, but I mean, is he going to play baseball in Japan, or is he going to be done playing baseball?
Oh, Shohei's going to go back and play baseball.
Okay, that's all. But he's probably he probably makes a lot of money over there too, though, because he's probably a damn king over there.
It is, and their seasons are only 130 games, so it's less wear and tear on your body, so he can last longer.
Frankie says that the Angels should, because Trout might not come back, and he said, do the Dodgers have the money to give him though? Because he said, damn, they're paying so many players so much money.
Yeah, they still got other players. They got to figure things out. They still got other players they got to pay.
Yeah. They have an owner that spends money.
Right. and they don't mind. You
You
know,
guys don't have an owner
the luxury tax. They
like
don't mind going over the luxury tax.
you guys
They
don't
don't
have an
mind.
owner
They
like
don't mind getting penalized.
yeah. You guys don't have an owner like the Reds and the Cubs do that don't want to spend no money.
No, the Cubs owner wanted to spend money. He just wanted to spend money on the amenities around Wrigley Field instead of the
Yeah.
product on the field.
Yeah, I don't know. It gets rough, and I know you feel the same way. It gets rough being a diehard fan of a team and just feeling like they're not trying to compete. It gets aggravating. I know that's why my dad's so aggravated because he's uh, and
Yeah,
it's
I could feel it.
Giants and Cubs still 0-0.
Yep.
See,
I,
I'm
I
still
finally
watching the
I finally
Dodgers
found it
game.
on my TV.
I'm gonna watch the Padres game after this, though. Once this game's over, I'm going over to the Padres and Twins because they're on the MLB Network.
Tell you what, you've seen some of the teams that were hot going into the All-Star break kind of struggle coming out of the All-Star break, and then it's like teams like Toronto that had struggled come out of the All-Star break hot. I mean, Toronto's playing; they're playing their way right back into a playoff spot, or at least a chance for a playoff spot.
Did they end up beating Detroit? Because I was watching that game earlier.
Uh, I don't know. I'd have to look. I was watching the Reds.
Yeah, I was watching that game earlier. That game was on Apple TV. That was the
I was
first
watching
game
Pat
ever.
McAfee on WWE SmackDown. I'm not going. I'm not going to lie.
But you're right. Since they fired their manager, they have gotten better, and they really like playing for this guy that's managing now.
Well, the Blue Jays were too good of a team to be struggling as long as they struggled.
Yeah.
Right.
And offensively,
Right.
they're hitting 268 as a team, which is the highest average in baseball. So you know from an offensive side of things what that team is going to do.
Right.
It's always been a matter of will they get enough starting pitching to get them over the hump. And right now, their starting pitching has played very well, and that's why they're back up to 12 games above 500 and leading the wild card race right now.
Yeah,
Right.
because their team
And on
ERA is
paper, they had a lot of expectations coming into the season.
their team ERA is 3.93, so it's right under 4. So that's not terrible. So I mean,
No.
but like Dustin said, it's been their starting pitch, and their bullpen hasn't been bad, but it's been their starting pitcher and that coach or not coach, the manager. He'll start guys pitching 1 or 2 innings and go to the bullpen. He, he's like David Bell. He's in a hurry to get to his bullpen.
Yeah,
Dries
some
heating up.
managers are just like that. Unfortunately, they like to get into their bullpen.
It's all about analytics. As soon as you're going
Right.
to face a team, if you're going to face the lineup for the third time, they want to take you out.
Yep, analytics dictates what a manager chooses to do with his starting rotation and his bullpen. The
Yeah.
entire team, really.
So who do you think is going to be the biggest winner coming out of the trade deadline?
What do you think, stat guy? Who do you think is going to be the biggest winner? It looks like the Mariners right now.
I'm gonna say the Blue Jays just because I think they are gonna land Montas, and then I think they're gonna get another bullpen arm, and then probably a bat.
Yeah, I could agree. I see that. I can see the Blue Jays being a tough team in the AL by the end of the season.
Do you think it's
In
enough
the National League,
deep into October?
I think they could. They had Montage. I do. I think they can make a deep run in the playoffs.
And we've seen it. We've seen it in the past. Playoff baseball at the Rogers Centers is freaking nuts.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if the Blue Jays get a home game in the playoffs, whether it's for the wild card or whatever, that's a tough place to play in. And then you add Montas in the mix. You're going to be throwing Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios, and Frankie Montas. Actually, no, you're going to be going Kevin Gausman and Alek Manoah as your 1 and 2, and then you're going to have Montas and Barrios as your 3-4.
Right.
That would be your playoff rotation. And then you would still have Ross Stripling available to use out of the pen. You would have Kikuchi to use out of the pen. So they would instantly have a deeper rotation, and that top four of Montas, Barrio, Manoa, and Gosman is one of the better top fours in the American League.
And then you get production from your bats, man. You're really in good shape.
I've been a fan since 1968. Go Dodgers.
You're right, man.
He's go,
The,
my
the
dad's gonna start,
Rogers Center
he's gonna
is
start rooting for the Dodgers.
he's jumping on board, huh?
Well, that's my mom. That's my mom's favorite team is the Dodgers. She's always been a Dodgers fan. Me and Dad have always been Cincinnati fans. And my son's a St. Louis Cardinal fan.
Well, they're winning right now. The Dodgers 5-2 in top of the ninth.
I don't know. He likes the Cardinals and everything. He's a Arizona Cardinals fan of football, St. Louis Cardinals in baseball.
Does he like the Illinois State Cardinals then too?
No, he was in the NBA. His team was the Brooklyn Nets because he was a big Darren Williams fan.
Oh,
Now he likes Mellow Ball.
Mellow Ball's good.
Yeah, I think Melo's going to be. I think he's going to keep improving.
Well, he's the best, out of all the brothers.
No, he's not.
No, LaMelo Ball, right?
No, he's not.
You don't think so?
He's the best scorer out of all the brothers, but Lonzo's the best overall player.
Why? Because
Lonzo can play
playmaking
defense,
ability?
he can rebound, he can assist, and he does like a lot of things that most point guards don't do.
So because of all the tools that he possessed, that makes him more solid.
Do you think the other brother will ever get in the NBA?
Heck no, that guy's terrible.
He said he's terrible.
The one who stole Louis Vuitton purses?
Yeah, that guy. Leangelo.
I'll be honest. I've never watched him play. I saw Melo play some. I've never seen the other one play. I watched Lonzo when he was at UCLA and stuff. And, he got off to a slow start there in LA, but tell you why he was playing good ball for the Bulls before he got hurt.
Yeah, he was shooting 42% from 3-point range too.
Yeah, he
Speaking
really
of basketball,
he refined his shot and gotten better from the outside. He improved as a shooter.
Yeah, but speaking of basketball, the NBA is opening a tampering probe on the 76ers.
Oh, here we go.
Have you guys seen anything about that?
I've heard a little bit about it, but I didn't really read into it. I saw that on The Athletic as well.
Let him go. Seriously, let him go ahead and do it. Like, what are they going to do? Is tell the Sixers that they can't have James Harden? The contract's already signed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. What are you going to do? They going to fine him or?
The Bulls got in trouble for tampering with Lonzo Ball this year, and all they lost was a second-round pick.
So that's probably what will happen. They'll lose some kind of draft.
Yeah, it's not really a big penalty, for tampering.
Well, if that's the only penalty, I would. If I'm a team, I mean, I think I have a legitimate shot. I'd take that risk if I'm only going to lose maybe a draft pick, especially if it's a third rounder or something.
And that's why a lot of teams think they could get away with it. Because, it's not really a harsh punishment for tampering in the NBA. It's as if the NBA condones tampering. It's almost as if we're going to slap you on the wrist. It's okay. You could tamper. You could tamper again. It's okay. We'll take a draft pick or something. It's like they're rewarding the behavior in a sense. To me, it is. Yeah. So if you keep, rewarding the behavior and you don't regulate things, then teams are going to feel that they could keep getting away with it.
So far with what's happened in the NBA offseason, who you think's the favorite to win the NBA championship next year?
Cubs just took a 1-0 lead on a Patrick Wisdom homer.
Oh, that guy brings a lot of wisdom to the game of baseball.
Oh shit, he killed it too.
I'm not watching that one. I'm still on
my TV. Just hit on my TV. Just hit it. I'm a little bit behind stat guy.
Okay, here comes Craig Kimbrell for the Dodgers. Let's keep our fingers crossed because sometimes this guy comes on in the night and he makes you nervous as hell.
But no, do you think the Warriors are the favorite to
I
win
I
the
do.
win the
I
NBA championship
I
again this
do.
year?
Even yes, I do. Even though they lost Gary Payton II, a very good defensive player, I think they are still favorites to win.
They also lost Porter Jr.
Yeah, they'll still be fine. Look who they have. They
Oh
have
yeah,
Steph Curry.
me personally, I think there's a chance that they're going to be better next year or this season they were last season.
They
Because
have pure shooters in their backcourt.
if you get a healthy James Wiseman,
Right,
I think Klay Thompson is going to play better this year because a leg injury like that, you're usually better in the second year.
right.
I
And
mean,
they
we've
have
seen it
pure
a lot.
shooters. Right. And they have pure shooters in their backcourt. They have a prolific backcourt. You still have Steph Curry, you have Klay Thompson, you have Draymond Green, who's a pesky defender who gets on my damn nerves, but hey, he's a pesky defender. He's an in your face type guy. I know, there's been a lot of criticism surrounding him lately, but he's still, a pretty solid defender when he wants to be. The knock on him is that he can't shoot and that he gets in foul trouble too much. But I mean, you got guys on that team that can score. You got Jordan Poole still. If you want to join the pool party, he's still there. So, I mean, this Warriors team, man, to me, they're the favorites going into next season. And why wouldn't they be? They're coming fresh off a championship. They're basically bringing back all their key players. You still got Steve Kerr, who I think is a terrific coach for Golden State. So, yeah, I think the Warriors are the team to look out for next season.
What do you think, Stat Guy? You think the Warriors are the favorites?
I not only do I think they're the favorites, but it shouldn't even be close. The team is going to be way better next year than they were this year. Even if James Wiseman doesn't give them what they expect to give them, his presence alone on that team next year is going to make a dramatic difference. Because now you're looking at Curry, Jordan Poole, and Klay Thompson as your guards. You still have Andrew Wiggins. You're going to have Draymond Green. You're going to have Wiseman. You're going to have Kayvon Looney coming off the bench, who was primarily a starter this year. And then you're going to have Bielitsa coming off the bench, who was primarily a starter in the playoffs.
And they just added that Vincenzo or what?
Dante DiVincenzo, yep.
Yep, they added him too. So
He's basically going to be replacing poor Gary Payton because DiVincenzo is known for his defense.
yep. Who do you think would challenge him? I mean,
The Warriors?
we're still waiting to see what's going to happen with KD.
I think Minnesota can challenge him with Rudy Gobert.
So
You have Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns playing together with D'Angelo Russell. That's going to be a lethal combo. Plus, they still have Anthony Edwards.
yeah.
That team's going to be exciting to watch. You're going to have New Orleans with that big three now: C.J. McCollum, Zion, and
I'm
Brandon
excited to
Ingram.
watch him play.
I think they could be a team to be reckoned with.
I want to see what they look like. I'm excited to see them because they were looking good toward the playoffs last year, and like you said, they were going to play Zion if that went to the seventh game. So now with a healthy Zion, I'm real interested in the Pelicans.
I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are good enough to take them to 7 games in a best of 7 series because you have Anthony Edwards, who really came on last season. We saw flashes of maturity and growth with him. And then you have D'Angelo Russell, who's gotten better since he left the Lakers. I always say that. Then you add.
You say that about a lot of people.
I know, I do, right? And then
Ingram got better when he left the Lakers.
Yeah.
Lonzo Ball got better when he left the Lakers.
And then you add Rudy Gobert to the mix. No, he's not going to score a lot of points, but he's a solid rim protector. He could be a fierce defender inside the paint, and he can, cause havoc inside the paint. Then, of course, you got Cat, who's going to be better now. I think, he's going to be better because he got the playmakers around him to be better. So I think the Timberwolves can be a challenging team for the Warriors if they do meet. But guys, you guys left one team out that I think is going to be better next season: the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja Morant's getting better. He has done a great job elevating everyone around him on the floor. He's very explosive. He's box office. He's a human highlight reel. I mean, this guy's incredible to watch. You can't say enough about Ja Morant. I think the Memphis Grizzlies are another team that can also, you know, be a tough out if the Warriors meet them as well. So those three teams, particularly Timberwolves, Memphis Grizzlies, and
Pelicans.
the Pelicans, because the Pelicans are
You know,
going
and I think the Nuggets are going to be better
the Nuggets are going to be better, but they can
if they,
never
if they
get
have
over the
if
hump.
they're healthy, man.
Yeah,
I think the Clippers could give him a run too if Kawhi Leonard's healthy.
nah, that's the thing. You can't
He
bet-
said no.
and this is not only my Laker bias. I'm saying this because you can't trust Kawhi Leonard because these guys, you can't bet on these guys because that's the problem, right? They can't stay healthy, And I do feel like this though. If Kawhi Leonard is on the floor, you get better production out of Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
Paul George needs his number one guy. Paul George clearly needs Kawhi Leonard to be on the floor. Damian, I wouldn't say Kawhi Leonard is overrated. I would just say he's not healthy. This is a guy who took a Raptors team, from a borderline playoff team to an NBA championship team. You have to keep
when he plays, he's one of the better players in the league.
When he plays,
he hasn't been able to be on the court.
Right. And we saw it in San Antonio, we saw it in Toronto.
He can play defense. He has a great mid-range game. I mean, he can.
Right. And a lot of people say he's overrated. And they say this because the team choked a few years ago in the Disney World bubble. Remember that?
The team didn't choke. Doc Rivers choked.
I agree.
I wrote an article about that too. I remember what the title of the article was. The Clippers choked on Nuggets.
I'm still surprised the Sixers haven't fired Doc Rivers.
It will come to that point eventually where they will terminate him because he's not a playoff coach. He's a regular season coach. Look, he can pile up a lot of wins during the regular season, but he could never finish the job. And that's been the knock on him for a long time, right? You can't come through in the playoffs. You can get enough wins during the regular season, but when it matters the most and when wins are meaningful, for whatever reason, you can't put it together, and he hasn't really guided his team to the promised land. We saw it in Orlando. This is a guy who coached the team that choked. We saw it in LA with the Clippers, and now we're seeing it in Philly, and that's just the reputation that he has earned as a head coach, but at the end of the day, he still is a head coach that can make your team relevant, that can get your team to the playoffs. But when it is time to win playoff games, they just fall short.
Before we talk a little bit of football, Damon says this is the guy that started load management and made the league more soft than it was.
Well, you got to remember, guys, a league is a copycat league, and that's any league.
It wasn't as much as he started load management as it was more. I think it was Popovich started doing load management with the Spurs.
Yeah, well, it's a copycat league.
And I think that's when
one guy
Kawhi started doing it more. But the Spurs, because the Spurs was one of the first teams to start doing that load management.
Yeah.
But before we talk a little bit of football, who's the favorite out of the East? You have the
I think
Celtics
it's
as the
the
favorite to get
Milwaukee
back to the
Bucks.
finals, or
I think it's the Milwaukee Bucks still. Got Giannis, man. You got the
I
Greek.
think I think the Bucks would have been in the finals with the healthy Middleton this year.
Probably they could have with a healthy Middleton. You know, they could have possibly won back to back titles. Dustin's falling asleep on the show.
Yeah, no, I'm tired. Oh,
Don't
nice
feel
catch.
bad. Don't feel bad. I've done
He
that
lost,
before. No,
he lost
they got me. They
That was
like
a nice catch.
they got a video to prove it that I fell asleep during the show.
Not as good
And
as as good as Giannis is. I can't pick the Bucks to be the favorites anymore, just because the Celtics have a better core. They have more options to beat you. They have more ways to beat you.
Bucks
that's
need to
true.
get another
That's true.
scorer.
They have a variety of ways to beat you, and they showed us that. They showed us that in these playoffs.
And like everybody on Boston is going to be back for the most part next year, and they added uh Brogdon.
Yep.
Yep.
If
And so
Brogdon can stay
now they
healthy,
got
it'll
a
be a good
veteran
fit for
leader
him.
too, because he's a veteran leader.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when he's on the court, he's good. He just battles back injuries. But let's talk some football. NFL. Let's talk some divisions. Uh, let's start with the AFC West. Who do you got? What order do you think the teams are going to finish in that division? Who you have winning the division? Start with Jonathan. Oh, he must have had me muted again. We'll start with stat guy then.
I got Kansas City finishing first, and then the rest of the division it doesn't matter because I still have all four teams in the playoffs.
So you still have Kansas City finishing first.
I have Kansas City finishing 11-6, and then I have the other three teams finishing 10-7. But it doesn't matter what order because I have all four of them making the playoffs anyways.
What division?
AFC West.
AFC West.
You know, that's a tough division. I mean, that division is stacked from top to bottom. I mean, you could pretty much give it to any team in that division. The only team that's kind of iffy is the Denver Broncos, I would say. Everyone else is kind of in a tight race. But if I have to choose one, and since I have to choose one, I'm going to say the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, you got Andy Reid over there. He's the head coach. You know, we all know how creative he can be. You know, he's done a terrific job with the Kansas City Chiefs. And then you have Patrick Mahomes, arguably a generational talent at the quarterback position. And then you still got Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the game today. So, I mean, I'm going to go with Kansas City, but I'm going to say it's going to be very close. I think the team that finished second behind them is the Raiders.
The Raiders. Okay. I think it's going to be a fun division to watch because I mean these teams I think are going to beat up on each other because all four teams are talented. Because I mean even Denver, I think they were just a quarterback away from being a playoff team, and now they got a quarterback. They had a good defense last year. They just haven't steady enough offense with Drew Lock as a quarterback. So you had Russell Wilson. I think they're going to be a lot better.
But their big problem is Nathaniel Hackett.
Yep.
Nathaniel Hackett was brought there to bring in Aaron Rodgers, and he didn't get Aaron Rodgers.
Breaking news. The bases are loaded. Not anymore. 2 runs scored. So now it's 5-4. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Craig Kimball is trash. I'm sorry.
No, he's not. He's not trashed.
To me, he is.
Tony La Russa is what ruined Craig Kimbrell last year.
Oh, you
because
think so?
when Craig Kimbrell was with the Cubs last year, he had a 1.3 ERA and was the best closer in baseball the first 3 months of the season. Gets traded to the White Sox, and Tony La Russa makes him a setup man. He's not a setup man pitcher, and from whatever reason, from that moment forward, Tony La Russa messed him up.
And now the Dodgers are getting the bad end of the stick.
But no, in the West, I like the Chargers. That's what I got with the AFC West this season. I like the pickup of Mac, pickup of also J.C. Jackson, and then Justin Herbert another year of growing. Uh, as long as the damn Staley, the coach, don't fuck it up. I like the Chargers. I do think the Raiders are going to be a real good team in that division as well.
Don't be so hard on
I
Staley,
agree.
man. He made some rookie mistakes from
Who?
last season. I think he learned from them.
Who?
Brandon
Staley?
He should have
Yeah.
learned from losing to Kansas City the way he lost to Kansas City, not to do that again against the Raiders 2 weeks later.
If he
Yeah.
don't call a timeout and you're in the playoffs.
Like
Yeah. I did a video on that. I was questioning it as well, like most of us were.
The Raiders even said they were going to let the game go to a tie. Like, they had no plans to win that game because they knew a tie or a win they were in, and they had the ball with the game tie. It's like, what's the point? We're in.
Let's get out of here. No, don't risk no injuries and get ready.
And the thing was, if the game would have ended in a tie, the Raiders would have had the 6th seed, and the Chargers would have had the 7th seed. And we saw how hard the Chargers played the Chiefs twice.
Right.
They would have got a third shot at Kansas City at the 7th seed.
Yeah, I like the Chargers. I like what they did in the offseason. I think they made some good moves. AFC East, I'm sure everybody likes Buffalo.
No, I don't.
You don't
Yeah,
like
of
Buffalo
course.
East?
No, I don't. I don't like Buffalo.
I like Buffalo as long as their defense doesn't collapse.
I love Buffalo in that division.
I do too. They're an easy pick in that division.
They're an easy pick to go. They're an easy pick to go to the Super Bowl because they're the most complete team in
believe
football.
so too. If their defense doesn't collapse, they
Yep.
they have a pretty good defense. They have a very good defense. They have a good quarterback, Josh Allen.
Mhm.
We all know
Only
how
thing that
great
worries me just a tad is that
they don't have a strong running game though. But well,
Well, it's going to be better this year because they got James Cook,
there you
Dalvin
go.
Cook's little brother.
So
The only thing that concerns me a little bit about them is losing Dayball.
They'll still be fine.
I mean, I think they will too because you have Josh Allen, but I just think Dayball and Allen had a great relationship, and so it's going to be interesting to see how the new play caller, if he can get in a good rhythm like Dayball could with Allen.
I like them to get to the Super Bowl.
Damien, Chris thoughts on Red. You must have missed it, Damien. But yeah, I knew it was coming. You could tell the other day when he pitched his last game, when he walked in the dugout and after pitching 7 innings, you could just tell by all the players and the way the managers and everybody was acting that they knew that was his last time pitching for the Reds. So I knew it was coming. I mean, I don't like it, but that's what they do. They're getting a bunch of prospects and going back to rebuild. So we'll see what happens. I've been riding with them this long. I'm gonna still ride with them, but they need to do something. I just want to try to be competitive. Like last year, we were competitive. No, I mean we barely missed the playoffs. We were competitive. I was fine with that, but then it was like, let's get rid of everybody. We don't want to be competitive.
And then 2020, you guys were competitive too.
Yep.
Craig Kimbrell.
That's when we had real good starting pitching, but we couldn't score no runs for anything.
Dodgers win, guys. Craig Kimbrell got the final out finally.
See, he's not that much trash. He got the win.
And he got his 390th save.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, Kimbrell isn't trash, man.
To me, he makes me nervous, man. Every night I'm crossing my fingers when that guy come on. I'm closing my eyes.
Let's do
I'm
the
covering
AFC.
my eyes.
Yeah. Let's do the AFC North. Who you got in the AFC North, Jonathan?
I'm still gonna give the slight edge to the Green Bay Packers only because Aaron Rodgers is there.
AFC North.
Oh, AFC North. Oh, I got the Bengals. I'm thinking NFC North. It's late over here on the West Coast. Well, it's later where you guys are.
You'll say late on
It's
the West
11
Coast,
o'clock where
man.
I'm at. It's only like 8 o'clock by
Well,
you.
you know, 11 o'clock is my bedtime
It's
on
getting ready.
average. So
Oh shit! I hit a button on my thing. I
there's a
put
lot
on
of
my
mistakes
roadcaster.
going on here. Huh? No, yeah. So in the AFC North, I got the Bengals. To me, it's a no-brainer. You got Joe Burrow. You know, we all know how great of a quarterback he is. He can, you know, because of his arm strength and his ability to scramble and run for his life. This guy can stretch the field with his throwing arm, and he's a sensational quarterback to watch. Then you got uh, the 1-2 punch with Jamar Chase, who I think is becoming an absolute stud in this league, a beast. You know, when you watch this guy play, it's amazing what he accomplished in his rookie season. So the Bengals, to me, are the team to win that division. The Steelers are nobody know how they're gonna be. Ben Roethlisberger's not there anymore. I said Clay. Clay, what's his name? Claypool, the
Chase
guy
Claypool.
that does a lot of talking, that feels he should be a top 5 receiver, top 3 receiver.
Yeah, Chase Claypool.
He's too busy doing TikTok dances and doing silly stuff on social media that he can't put his focus on the football field. So I don't see the Steelers doing much, and um, you know, yeah. So I got the Bengals. The Browns are gonna be the Browns. You know, they might, take their honest nickname back, which is the Clowns. You know, because we all know how life has been for the Browns in recent memory, and they haven't always been a team that people really rave about because they weren't relevant to really rave about. So I'm not too sold on them. So I got the Bengals. Give me the Bengals.
Who you got, Stat Guy? What do you think about the AFC North?
It's the Bengals division to lose because they addressed their one biggest need this offseason, which was protecting Joe Burrow.
Yep. Exactly. They tried to retool that offensive line. If that offensive line's better, I mean, look what he was doing, getting sacked 9 times a game
Mm-hmm.
or 7 times a game in the playoffs, and still had his team there to win a game. If you protect him, I mean, his numbers are going to go. I think go up quite a bit, and he already puts up good numbers. I'd probably have Baltimore at second. Then Cleveland's hard just because you don't know if they're going to have how long Deshaun Watson's going to be suspended. If he's going to play at all this year, if he's only going to be suspended for four games or 6 games. I mean, if he's gone the whole year, Cleveland with Brissett at quarterback, I don't think Cleveland's going to do much. I think Pittsburgh could be decent. I think Trubisky might play better there than he did with Nagy. So, but I think I agree. I think it's the Bengals division to lose because I agree they addressed their biggest weakness, which was the offensive line.
So Marcus Stroman almost hit the guy in the head, and it was called a strike because as he was falling down, he swung at it.
Oh yeah, I just saw it. Yep.
Oh my god!
Is that game on Apple? I'm gonna
Apple
watch that
TV,
one
Apple TV. Yeah.
because the Padres game, I just saw the score and it's not that
Dude,
competitive.
I haven't umpired in like over 2 years now, but I've umpired Little League Baseball for like 15 years. I love umpiring, but now I can't do it because of my health. But that play right there used to start so many arguments with parents. Oh, it hit him, or he almost hit him. He swung the bat. It's a strike. People get so mad about it, but
I got it on now.
that's the worst. I'll tell you what. That's at Little League games. That's the worst thing. Is a lot of times is the parents.
Oh, I know.
Yep.
But yeah, I loved umpire. I used to umpire about 20 games a week.
It's good
I do
money.
too. Huh?
Did you
That's good money.
Oh yeah, you can make good money.
really?
Oh yeah.
$60
Little
a
League
game.
game?
60 bucks a game.
Damn.
and most of them have like an hour and 15, hour and a half time limit, and it's like a hard time limit. Once you hit
Yeah,
the time
that
limit,
makes me want to. That makes
except
me
like
want
in
to
the
get into
championship game.
umpiring.
Oh,
That
dude,
makes-
one summer back on this been about 15 years ago, I was laid off at work, and that's what I done all summer. That's how I made money. I umpired all summer long. Hell, I can make anywhere between $600 to $1,000 a week umpiring baseball games.
Damn, that makes me
As
want
long
to
as,
do it on the side, man.
yeah,
I
as
can
long,
do
as
that.
long as you can get rained out, you can make. You can make some money.
Yep.
You're going to deal with some parents though.
That's okay. Shit.
I had a guy tell me he was going to sick his Rottweilers all be. He's going to put my body in a one of them 50-gallon drums.
Oh wow.
I called his kid out at home plate. He was pissed. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah,
I can imagine you get some ignorant parents.
Here in Muncie, Indiana, if you umpired on the south side of town, you never knew what you were going. Somebody was going to say to you. Have people want to fight you and all kinds of stuff over a baseball game.
That's crazy. You know, one thing about San Francisco, it gets really, really foggy in that part of Southern California.
Yes, it
That's
does.
one thing about San Francisco. It gets really foggy up north.
But speaking of Little League, one of my favorite things is getting ready to start coming back on TV. The Little
League World Series.
I love watching Little League World Series. I actually went to one.
I like the Little League World Series too.
Hey,
I went to one of the regional.
They expanded the field this year.
I went to one of the regional games. They used to have, well, they still do, but it's in Indianapolis, about an hour from me. They have one of the regionals, and I went down there one year and watched a couple of the games. Man, it was cool. I want to go to Williamsport and watch the actual World Series sometime.
Yeah,
I love watching that.
They expanded the field by 4 teams this year, so now it's 20 teams instead of 16.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I love watching when it's on. I'm watching that all day long.
You know who's at the Giants game tonight? Marlins Man. You know who Marlins Man is, right?
Who?
He's this well-known super fan around Major League Baseball.
He is a former lawyer that worked in Miami, Florida, that became a super fan of baseball, and Fox Sports pays him $250,000 a year to go to baseball games because when he wears that orange shirt, when he sits behind home plate, the camera centers on his jersey, and that's how the camera can tell it's centered.
So he's like the guy that wears, I think it's a green shirt, all the WWE events.
Yep.
Wow, I
He
want
always
to do that now.
he's always in the same exact seat. Every WWE.
Because the camera focuses on that person, and that's how the camera can tell if it's centered.
They should sign me up to do that. All I gotta do is wear a Dodger blue jersey, and I could help them center the camera.
Let's see, AFC South.
Colts.
I mean, we found out this morning that the Titans are the second best team in the NFL. So,
Wasn't that hilarious?
uh-huh.
That was funny, right? No,
that was
in all
the first
seriousness,
time. That was the first time I've seen Dustin get fired up. He
Yeah,
said,
Dustin
"I've had enough of this shit."
well, because how can you leave Aaron Rodgers off the list? You know,
And I hate Aaron Rodgers, for God's
you
sakes.
can't do that. Like, no one can take their
We're
list.
not even leaving off the top 10. He said it wouldn't.
Yeah, he said he was not even top 14.
He went top 14. I was like, really?
No, but for me, it's the Colts. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, man, he is putting up big numbers over there. He is a beast running the football, and he's an unstoppable force. When he's running the football, a very dangerous offensive weapon for the Colts. The thing with the Colts is Frank Wright. Frank Wright sometimes doesn't make the smartest choices when it comes to coaching. And I think that's something that needs to be corrected if you want to win football games. I think Frank Wright has to do a better job putting his team in a better position to win football games, and don't abandon the run game. You know, don't get away from the run game. That's the foundation of your offense. I mean, that is the staple for your offense. So you run the football consistently and run it by establishing the run. What that does, that opens up things for your offense. So I think that's something they need to focus more on is that strong run game. Use it to your advantage. Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in the league. So I got them finishing first place in that division, and I got the you know the Titans second.
Uh, who you have, stat guy?
Same pick as Damien. I have Jacksonville.
You got the Jags.
That's
You think they surprise a lot of people this season, or what?
I'm looking at it as a similar situation than when Peterson was in Philadelphia. You look at Carson Wentz rookie season, it was okay, it wasn't great. All of a sudden, year two, Carson Wentz plays like an MVP. Philadelphia goes to the Super Bowl and they win. Trevor Lawrence did not have a great rookie season because his head coach was a moron. Now you give Trevor Lawrence a head coach that has historically been known to work very well with young quarterbacks. You give him Christian Kirk and Marvin Jones Jr. at wide receiver to help in the passing game. Travis Etienne is coming back healthy this year. Plus, you still have James Robinson. And Jacksonville's defense with Miles Jack and all those guys is going to be an improved unit also.
the Jags is worry me because the Colts always play terrible against the Jags, but I do like the Colts. I think Matt Ryan still has a couple of years of good football left. I think he's going to be an improvement over what Wentz did last year. Only thing that worries me about the Colts is that receiving core. I mean, I think Travis Pittman has been improving, but I don't know if he's at a number. I really don't. I don't know if he's at a number one level yet. And right now, he's going to be our number one receiver. So that kind of worries me that they didn't sign a receiver. I thought for sure was going to get Julio Jones, but I still like the Colts. I would have the Jags actually at second, and then Tennessee at third, because I do think the Jags are going to be good. I think you're going to see a big jump for Trevor Lawrence this season. I think a lot of that was Urban Meyer and just the situation that the Jags had. So I expect the Jags to be a lot better.
The thing that people don't realize with Tennessee too is they got to replace AJ Brown.
Yeah, their receiving core worries me too, just like the Colts. But I like the Colts defense better than I do Tennessee's.
Yeah.
And we have Jonathan Taylor. I mean, Tennessee has Derrick Henry, but is he going to stay healthy the whole season? I mean, he gets banged. He's a big dude. He runs people over. He gets banged up. But I do agree with Jonathan with what you said about Frank Reich. There is times he makes some questionable decisions, and there's times that he does get away from the run game,
Right.
and gets pass happy. And it's like, dude, we have arguably the best running back in the league, and we don't have to pass it all the time. Especially with the offensive line we have. I mean, run behind Quentin Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
You run behind Quentin Nelson 9 times out of 10, you're going to gain some yards.
Same thing we had Eric Fisher too.
Yep. Davis, I never thought I would have someone agreeing with me. He said, "What the hell? The hell freeze over." That don't happen too often. Well, let's go ahead and talk NFC. NFC. Let's do NFC East first. Stat guy, who you like in NFC East? What do you think is going to happen there?
I like Philadelphia because of the addition of AJ Brown. He kind of gives Philly that number one receiver that they haven't had. Their defense was the best defense in the NFC East last year, and then you have the best running attack in football last year, basically coming back. Dallas losing Amari Cooper is going to hurt more than people realize.
I agree.
I don't know. I just think they're not having Amari Cooper, not having 100% confidence that Michael Gallup is going to be 100% healthy when that season starts. It's pretty much CeeDee Lamb or nobody right now for Dak Prescott.
Yeah, if Gallup isn't healthy, they're going to be struggling because you can double team CeeDee Lamb, and they really don't have another threat. Who do you think, Jonathan?
I think the Eagles win that division. Look, this is a team that caught on late in the second half of the season last season. They started to put together some wins. The Cowboys, to me, they're just undisciplined. They don't have Amari Cooper anymore. So, you take a weapon away from your offense. Dak Prescott is going to have to rely heavily on CD Lamb. And like, you know, Dustin said, all you got to do is just double team him and, make life miserable for him. You take away that offensive weapon, who do you got? Ezekiel Elliott has taken a step back in his career. Ever since he got paid, he hasn't been that, speedy running back that we saw when he first came into the league. And it seems like he has regressed year after year. He hasn't gotten any better. So that's concerning for the Cowboys. And I just think the Cowboys, man, they're not really a well coached football team.
Do you think the Giants will be better this year with Dable?
I think the Giants, it's a possibility that they could, because he's coming from Buffalo, a very good team, but I don't know how much better they'll be.
Well, it all depends on if he can get Daniel Jones not to turn the ball over. If he can, progression, and if they can improve that offensive line,
and if they can get a healthy Saquon Barkley, I think that's going to be huge for them too.
It's not going to matter. Regardless what happens, Mitchell Trubisky is going to end up in New York next year.
Well, New York's going to have years of misery, it seems.
No, because Brian Daboll loves Trubisky.
Well,
but I like the Commanders in the East. They got wins. I think that's an upgrade to what they did have. You have McLaurin. He has some weapons. But the only thing that does scare me, their defense was pretty solid. But then last year, toward the end of the season, their defense wasn't playing up to the level that they should have. But I like the Commanders. I like Ron Rivera, and then I go Eagles. I like the Eagles. I just not 100% sold on Jalen Hurts yet. Cowboys, I'd put at third, and Giants last. I just don't expect a lot of the Giants this year.
To me, that's the weakest division in football.
That in the AFC South.
Yep. Let's do the NFC North. What do you think, Jonathan? Who got in the North?
Aaron freaking Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers, and the Vikings finishing second.
Damian said Trubisky to the Giants. Okay, now that's funny. Hey, it wouldn't surprise me, because what usually happens to a quarterback that the head coach didn't draft, or wasn't the quarterback he picked. They usually get rid of him and they get the quarterback that they want. So it wouldn't surprise me if Trubisky gets there. Who'd you say? You said the Packers and the Vikings second?
Right.
What do you think, Stat Guy? What do you think is going to happen in the NFC North this season?
I'm going Minnesota first and the Packers second, just because without Devontae Adams, I don't know how Aaron Rodgers is going to look, especially early in the season when he needs to actually figure things out.
Yeah, I think might be better toward or later in the season, but yeah, until they figure some things out and get a flow, I can see them struggling. I agree. I like the Vikings as well, basically for that reason. And I think the Vikings, the best thing that happened to them was finally getting rid of Zimmer.
And bringing in Kevin O'Connell.
Yep. So I think I think the Vikings are going to have a real good year this year. Let's see what
we have: the NFC South and the NFC West left.
Do the South.
Tampa.
Who you like in the South?
Tampa, but I think New Orleans is going to be a lot better this year than they were last year, especially now that Jameis Winston showed that he actually can lead a team, and he's back, and then they added Jarvis Landry into that mix also.
Yeah.
Oh, Jameis Winston, he can definitely lead a team. My biggest concern is that they don't have Sean Payton anymore. They lost a very good play caller. So things to me are going to be.
They still have their play caller, Peter Carmichael.
Yeah.
He was the offensive coordinator last year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I
And they
I,
ke-
I
and they
still
kept and they kept Dennis Allen as the head coach, who was the defensive coordinator last year. So it's not like they're changing anything because he's still going to call the defensive plays, and then the same offensive coordinator they had last year is going to run the same offense.
I yeah. Well, but I still gotta give it. I still gotta give it to the Tampa Bay Bucks. You know, you have Tom Brady. He's coming back now.
But you don't have
You got
Bruce
a great,
Arians.
huh?
You don't have Bruce Arians this year, though.
That's true. But
You have Todd Bowles.
you got a good wide receiver corp. Um, you're deep. You have a better defense than what people say you have. And that also goes for the Saints too. They have a pretty good defense. You
Yeah.
know, they have a pretty good secondary as well. So, I mean, it's going to be a battle between those two teams. Everybody else is like whatever, you know. But those two teams particularly are going to be the teams that you really look out for.
Yeah, I like the Bucks as
That's a
well, but
beautiful view,
I
Oracle
like
Park.
the oh yeah, I like the Bucks as well. But I think I really do think New Orleans is going to be tough. I don't think the transition to the new coach is going to be that big of a deal because they didn't change a whole lot. Uh, if Jameis Winston stays healthy, because I mean he was playing good football last year before he got hurt. I think people forget that he wasn't throwing all the interceptions last year before he got hurt.
13 touchdowns and 2 picks when he got hurt.
So I mean I'm looking for him. So I think it's going to be a good battle between them two because the Saints always play the Bucks tough as well.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's always fun when those two teams meet.
And then what about the NFC West?
It's going to be the Rams, and I don't think it matters after that
Yeah,
because the
it really doesn't matter.
Rams are miles ahead better than anybody
Oh,
else in
dude,
that division, and
Yeah,
it's
then
going to be the 49ers because they have Trey Lance.
they replaced Robert Woods with Allen Robinson, who's a better
No,
receiver than Robert Woods. So I mean,
who did he say Trey Lance was better than? Did he say Trey
I said
Lance was
Trey
better?
Lance is going to have a better season than Aaron Rodgers, and I said the
Yeah,
only way that's happening
yeah.
is Rodgers gets hurt in the preseason and doesn't play.
that's
He's-
ridiculous.
At first, I thought he was just like trying to troll, but then I was like, no, this dude really is really believing what he's saying. Pride was killing me. And then Jay gets mad. Jay was still Steven when we done the afternoon show.
Man, Jay was hot. Jay was so hot, he left the show. He just said, "You know what? To hell with this. I'm not doing this anymore.
Oh, he was mad,
I'm
man.
gonna just leave."
He got on the afternoon show, and before we started, oh man, he was
I
still
mean,
fired up.
it did get out of hand though, in a sense, you know.
Yeah, but Freddie helps it get out of hand, and then he'll try to tell me, hey, you got don't let it get out of hand. But, hey, you're the one that helps it get out of hand every time you're on.
Yeah, it's all fun though.
Well, I was just sitting there laughing and reading Stat Guy's comments in the private chat, and yeah, I do. I guess he's gonna start being on there all the time. I guess.
Cameron,
Yeah.
yeah, he's the new guy
We'll
that
see. We'll see if he comes back after today.
joined our network. Cameron's cool. He's been following my stuff for a long time. You know, it's just the pics are horrible. That's all. You know,
He's
you can
gonna, hey, I
still
wouldn't
be
be
you can
hey, I
still be
wouldn't
a
be telling
nice
people
guy.
that he's been following your stuff because the takes he was giving, you don't want people thinking that's what you've been saying.
Yeah, but you could still be a nice guy and have ridiculous takes,
Oh, I
you
know.
know, on sports.
Oh, yeah, he didn't seem
And
like a bad guy,
that's what we saw today. You know, we saw a very, very nice, pleasant young man
but
who
then they
just
were going at
has
it.
some of the craziest picks.
They were going at
At
it over.
other
They were
space.
going at it in the chat room or or the group chats after the show.
Oh my God. I started to hit him up in a private messenger and said, dude, are you serious? Are you for real about these picks?
Yeah, but in this division, I think it's the Rams as well, and the 49ers. I don't expect them to be very good. If with Trey Lance as a starter this year, I just don't think he's ready. He could prove me wrong. Hey, it's happened. Um,
So who finishes second then? The Cardinals?
Yeah, I'd probably say the Cardinals because you can't say Seattle. 'Cause
No, yeah, Seattle's in a rebuild
the
mode.
only thing that worries me about the Cardinals as well though, is they're not going to have DeAndre Hopkins for first 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They paid, the Seahawks though. They paid DK
And
Metcalf,
I don't
right?
and I
But
don't
they
know if
don't have
Kyler
nobody to
Murray's
throw the ball to him.
and I don't know if Kyler Murray's going to watch any game film or not. So that kind of worries me as well. I can't believe they took it out of the contract and thought that was going to stop people from talking about it. And I agree. I think it was Stat Guy that said you don't think they took it out. Wouldn't isn't that what you
I
said?
don't think I don't think they took it out. I just think they said they took it out to get
Yeah.
people off their back, and it's like you get to this point in your NFL career, watching film should be second nature to you. You shouldn't even question it. Like every time you see Tom Brady on the sidelines, he's looking at a tablet. He's looking at what happened, and if he sees something, he gets other people involved, like the running back or the wide receivers, and starts pointing things out. As a quarterback, you should know that you're going to be required to watch more film than anybody because you're the one that has to look at how a defense lines up. You're the one that's going to have to figure out where the pressure's coming from. You're the one that's going to have to figure out what audibles they're calling to change the systems. And the only way you can do that is by watching film.
Oh, I agree. I couldn't believe it when they said that there was a clause like that in his contract. I'm like, really? And then they come the next day and try to take it back. It's like it's too late now. But how does something like that get leaked though? I mean, you would think that one decides wanted that leaked, right? For that to get out. Yeah, either had to be the Cardinals or it had to be somebody in Kyler in Murray's camp.
I think it was both.
Somebody leaked it.
I hope the Cardinals do good just because that's my son's team. But other than that, I don't watch him as much now because he don't live with me no more. When he lived here, we'd have both TVs, and I'd have the Colts game on one TV, and then we'd have Red Zone on the other. Or if the Cardinals was playing at the same time, he'd have the Cardinals game on. But he comes over every now and then, but it ain't like when he lived here. Oh, we watched our games I watch Cardinals games all the time, and now I'm more just watching the Colts, and then usually there's better games on than the Cardinals a lot of the times. But
That's so iconic right there. The Coca-Cola bottle.
Coke bottle.
Cisco.
Oh, we got Mr. Side Armor.
I'd like to go to that field. I haven't been there.
Field's gorgeous.
You been there, Stat Guy?
Yeah, back in 04 when the Cubs played the Giants out there.
Yeah, I live in California too, so that's no excuse. I should have gotten out there by now.
I love
Oracle Park.
I love Camden Yards. They're in Baltimore. That's a real nice ballpark. I really liked it. We went there about 4 or 5 years ago and watched the Rays and the Orioles.
Okay.
We were on vacation in Washington D.C. So while we were on vacation, we went and watched the Washington Nationals. They actually played the Chicago Cubs, and then the next day we went over to Baltimore. And then while we was in Baltimore, we went to a Baltimore and Rays game. We was like in the fifth row, just past third base. It was like 5 rows from the field. But man, I really like that ballpark. Of course, I love Great American Ballpark.
Yeah, Great American's nice.
I've been to San Francisco. I've been to San Francisco many times. So I just never been to Oracle Park. But I've been on the outside of it where the Covey Cove is at.
Mm-hmm.
I've been around it where there's a boardwalk behind it.
Yeah, so, Oracle Park is gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a boardwalk behind it, and that's the only stadium where you can watch a game at free of charge. You know that, right?
Yep.
If you walk on the boardwalk, you can go inside and you can see the game from right field.
Huh. Yeah, I really like the Detroit Stadium, Comerica. It's a nice park. We went there when it first opened. I want to get to Wrigley. I haven't been to Wrigley yet.
How dare you?
I've been to the White Sox Stadium, but I haven't been
How
to
dare
Wrigley.
you?
I've never been to Chicago at all.
How dare you?
Well, my sister's husband is a White Sox fan. And they had my nephew's birthday party. Right, like for his birthday, we all went to a White Sox game. It was like 100 degrees out, but I do want to go to Wrigley Field. Like my because my girl, she's a big Cubs fan, so she's been wanting to go to Wrigley. She's been there before, but she's been wanting to go because last time we went and watched Cubs and Reds, we went to Cincinnati. Frankie said I'd never go to Chicago.
They wouldn't let you in, Frankie.
The Rockies must have got beat because he said.
I actually want to visit Chicago. The Rockies did get beat, but there was another. What did he say?
He's not allowed at Wrigley. He has a wheelchair. But no,
The Cubs owners are being sued by the federal government because when he redid the stadium, he did not make it wheelchair accessible.
That's stupid. You know, there's people that can't walk as well. There's people who need wheelchairs.
Yeah, he didn't make it wheelchair accessible, so now he's
You
getting
have
sued.
to make it accessible for all fans.
So now he's getting sued.
That's stupid.
But no, being real, I like going to Chicago. Only thing I don't like about it is trying to find somewhere to park. Like we'll go to my sister's house, and there's been times I've had to park like a block and a half or 2 blocks down the street.
Well, Ozzie Ginn once said that he had to park in the McDonald's parking lot down the street from Wrigley Field. Because I guess there's a McDonald's like literally right down the street from there.
Yep, it's like across the street.
And there's a Taco Bell too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I do know that because I've seen it on Google Maps. So that's how I know.
We'll probably try to go next year.
Why don't you just take your girl to the Field of Dreams in August for the Cubs and Reds?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
That would be fun.
I was going to see how much tickets was. Now I forgot. I might get on there and see how much they are. Guys got any final thoughts before we get out of here? Cubs are still up 1-0 in the 7th inning.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, it looks like a real nice ballpark on TV.
It's very nice, especially when you can see the ocean in the background.
It's nice. I've just never been inside the ballpark. I've been around it on the outside, but I've never been inside.
Get there, yay!
What's your favorite ballpark that you've been to, Stat Guy?
Without being biased or being biased?
Well, being biased, you're going to say Wrigley.
Yeah.
Besides Wrigley.
PNC.
In Pittsburgh?
Mm-hmm.
That one looks nice too.
I'd say probably PNC and Oracle are right up there in terms of major league ballparks. And then for minor league ballparks, my favorite AAA park is either Louisville or Nashville. AA, I haven't been to too much in AA. I do like the Tennessee Smokies Park because it's actually built into the mountains.
The Fort Wayne Tin Caps and Single A have a real nice ballpark.
Yeah, the Wisconsin Timberellas by me have a nice park. South Bend's got a nice park. Myrtle Beach has a real nice park in low A because it's like built right across the street from like a boardwalk. So you can take the boardwalk and walk across the street from like all the shops and everything right to the stadium.
Oh, that's cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, my favorite. I want to go to St. Louis. That's another one I haven't been to. But my favorite's that I've been to has been Camden Yards.
Oh, Kaufman is nice. I like Kaufman with the waterfalls.
I had a friend who's been in that ballpark. He said it's nice. In Kansas City, Kaufman.
Yep. Target Field in Minnesota is nice.
Oh, that one looks nice. It ought to be nice as much money as they spent on it.
Yeah, I went and watched the Tin Cap.
Like a 700? Wasn't that like a $700 billion stadium?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went and watched the Tin Caps play the South Bend Cubs earlier this season.
What was the other one? The other one I like is Petco in San Diego.
Oh, I heard
Actually,
a lot of good things about Petco Park.
actually have the programs they give out at the game.
And Petco Park's in the middle of downtown San Diego too.
So yeah, it's nice stadium.
Yep. Indianapolis Indians have a nice
Yep, victory.
minor league. Yeah, I like Victory Field,
Yep.
and you can get tickets cheap. Hell, you can sit behind home plate for like 15, $16. All right, Jonathan, you got any final thoughts?
Man, it's been a blast once again to be back on this show, as always. And it was even more exciting tonight with Stat Guy being on the show as well. I always learn a lot from Stat Guy because he knows so much about sports. I think he's more knowledgeable than most of us on this show, or just on most of our shows. And that's not to take anything away from, you, Chris, or myself, but that guy brings it, man, and you do too, Chris. Want to thank you for having me on once again. It's always fun coming on the show. And Stat Guy, me and Chris are thinking about doing a show together real soon, and maybe we might be looking for a third guy as well if you want to jump on. So
Just depends on when it is because I work third shift normally. I'm off tonight because my wife's out of town.
okay, okay, I got you. But whenever you can make it on, that'll be cool. We've been talking about the show for a little bit, but
Okay.
again, it was a great Friday. You know, great to be on this show. Thank you, Chris, once again.
Oh, yeah, like I said, both of you are welcome to come on anytime you want. You plan on being on Monday?
Yes, I do.
All right.
And you know what? I
Ian,
was worried. I was actually worried about not being able to do this show tonight because my fiance, she's working at event tonight, and so I had my daughter tonight by myself. But the girl knocked out, so
Yeah,
it worked out.
I remember them days. Now I have a little grandson that's getting to where he can almost walk. So now he's gonna be getting into everything when he comes over.
Oh yeah. No, you
He's
just
my
have to
little he's
teach
my
them
little
early.
buddy.
You have to teach them early. No, no, don't
Oh
touch
yeah,
that. No, you can't touch that. That's what I'm
he's my
teaching
little
early.
buddy. He'll come in here and I'll grab him. And the first thing he does, he'll grab my beard. And
Oh
I,
yeah.
I
No,
can't
I'm
get his
teaching
little ass
Maddie.
hands out of it.
I'm teaching Maddie already what not to touch. Like I thought about moving the pops from the TV stand, but no, I'm not gonna move them because I'm gonna teach her. No, you don't touch those because obviously she's a baby, but she thinks they're toys, and to
Yeah,
me, no, they're not toys. They're collectibles.
yeah. My son has a bunch of them. He collects them.
Okay, yeah, I do too. I haven't bought one in a while though. It's been a while since I bought one. Since
I'm
I,
more I'm more into the hats. I like
yeah,
hats. I
yep.
got all kinds of hats. And you never hardly see me without a hat on. About the only time I don't have a hat on is when I'm asleep.
Oh yeah, you
But
got quite a collection there too.
yeah, and I don't even have all of them in here. I still have some other ones from where we
See, that's how I
moved
am
and
with
stuff. I haven't got
shoes.
out.
That's how I am with sneakers. I have so many. I still have a lot in my closet, believe it or not. That's not even on display and on the rack.
Stat guy, you have any final thoughts?
Nope. Just think everyone should be expecting a very busy trade deadline weekend this weekend. Very busy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be busy. And then don't forget tomorrow we'll be doing a live reaction live watch along and reaction for SummerSlam and for the UFC 277. So join us for that at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Then Sunday I'm going to be doing a live watch along and reaction for Ric Flair's last match. That's actually a pretty stacked card that they got put together for that. But Ric Flair is going to wrestle one more match. Hopefully, he don't die in the ring.
He's gonna break a hip.
I guess he was going to jump off like a 15-foot ladder or something, and Charlotte stepped in and told him he wasn't fucking doing it, and so they ended up taking that part out of the match. These crazy guys going to try to jump off a 15-foot ladder. They were going to do that Sunday, and then Monday we'll be back with the sports betting show, and then GSR again Monday night.
Let me know when Undertaker comes back and does another match, then I'll watch.
I'll look for maybe at WrestleMania. He might. Well, he might not now because Vince is gone. And Vince was the one that could always talk him into coming back.
I think Triple H could too.
Yeah, that's true. He probably could too. I think it's going to get even better now that Triple H is going to be in charge. But all right, I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will see you guys Monday night at 11 for another episode of GSR, or we'll hopefully see you guys tomorrow night for a live watch along to the UFC 277 in SummerSlam. But have a good night, stay safe, and we'll see you later.